Hello everybody and welcome to my garden. I thought I would just take you along while I do some bits and bobs today. I have a few things to get done, just a few easy things to plant and pop in the ground, and I wanted to do some editing in the garden. This big monstrosity back here, I actually love it. It's what I'm going to be editing and working on is the geranium. It's kind of taken over and it's been a little bit of a thug, and also the salvia, the white salvia behind it, and the bees love it, and it's beautiful and it's super prolific, but it's kind of taken over, and I just want to make sure that it's not thugging out any of my other beauties that we have going on. So let's get to editing this geranium and maybe even the white salvia, and then I'll show you guys what I have planned to put in the ground. All right, let's get to work. Okay, so I just spent some time in here editing out the geranium that was kind of flopping over. You see, I have some wild marjoram that I started from seed, and it was kind of overpowering and taken over. I have lots of strawberries that have just, I let them go. I let them go wild because I love it. I think it's really pretty seeing the little pops of red in the berries. The slugs get to them before I do most of the time. So it really is just for the landscape. It's for the birds. So I have marjoram here. I also have, if it's still alive, some marjoram down here. And it's a perennial, and I wanted it because it's wonderful to cook with, and it actually has beautiful flowers and blooms on it. So I still left the geranium it's pretty large, but I don't mind where it is. It's not crowding my lisianthus anymore. It has room to breathe. And I also cut back the spent blooms of the white salvia here. I was careful not to remove any of the blooms that are still, have lots of flowers still on them, because as you can see, the bees absolutely love it. I also cut back the veronica that was clearly spent. I could have done a better job. There's more now that I see, now that I'm out of there. But I cleared out a lot of the white salvia because it was crowding this scabiosa that is trying to emerge and finally come out and bloom for us. So I love that. I think it's beautiful. I have these hollyhocks in the back here. They usually flower their second year. So next year, they should put on a beautiful show for us. And then I have an Eden climbing rose right back here that's doing really well right next to our grape. That is also a baby and just put in recently. So I love the hollyhock foliage, whether it is in bloom or not. So I actually think that is really lovely. I don't mind it. And it takes up space, and it's just beautiful foliage. And then I have kind of a mess going on right here with with these zinnias. I need to find a way to support them better. They're kind of just clambering and climbing all over each other, and it's kind of a hot mess. So I need to find some supports. When I was at the garden center, they actually ran out of the exact supports that I was looking for, so I wasn't able to get them, but maybe I'll go back again today and see if they have anything for me. So that's it. A little bit of editing done. I may go around here. I know that this may seem super cramped to everybody, but I love it. And as long as everything looks like it's thriving and has space, which everything does, I'm leaving it. I love the fullness of it. And I love it when I get home from work after a few days of being on. I get home and I just feel like every day it just erupts even more fullness. And it is just wonderful. I enjoy seeing that so much. All right, let's get some things planted. It's just a few, not anything, no biggie, just popping some things in the ground. Let me show you what I got. Okay, so this is kind of my little plant purgatory where everything waits to go into the ground. So I was so excited to find these. I've actually been trying to find the seeds and couldn't get my hands on them, at least not in this country. I actually had them confiscated on the border when I tried to import them. But these are valerian. So I was shocked to see these at the garden center. I hadn't seen them before. Here is the tag, also called Jupiter's Beard. This one's Pretty Betsy, and it gets 3 to 4 feet tall. And it is so good. I hear the one reason that I really wanted it is such a pollinator magnet, and it is just absolutely beautiful. It is just absolutely gorgeous and whimsy, and it'll tolerate part sun, part shade, from what I read. So I don't want to risk it. I've never grown it before, so I'm not going to put it in a full sun location. I'm actually going to put it where I planted the phlox the other day. So I have 3 of these, and then I have 2 veronicastrums. And these are Veronicastrum Cupid. So these are like Veronica, but taller. So these get to about 36 inches tall. And I kind of want to dabble them. I only have 2 of them, but actually, from what I saw, there's actually multiple in the pot. There's 2 in this one, and so I'm going to be breaking them up. And then this one came to me looking sickly, but there's actually been plenty of new growth on the bottom, so I think it'll be okay. So I at least have 1 good one, and then I think I'm just going to chop those off. Actually, I see new growth on here, so I think they'll be okay. I tried to bring it back to health, but they arrived this way. I think there's plenty of life on it. I think it'll be okay. So I'm going to pop these in the landscape with the valerian. And then I also got some cupcake cosmos. And I love cupcake cosmos. They're my absolute favorite. I only got 4 of them, and I'm already thinking I need to go back and hope that they have enough, because I was actually going to start another round of these cupcakes from seed, but I saw these at the garden center the other day, and now I don't have to. And the reason I would just do it from seed, but how much time does it take for Cosmo to already get to this size? Probably pretty significant. So, I mean, it's saving me a couple weeks at least, a couple weeks of having bloom sooner. So that's the reason that I went for that and not the seed. It really was just a matter of time. And if you have time, then start them from seed. But otherwise, we take the opportunities that are given. All right, let's get these in the ground. excuse the noise. They're a gardener. There are people out doing their lawns and everything. But I wanted to have a little bit of a confession time. So these are my dahlia cuttings. And as you can see, they're not put in the ground yet. We had a little bit of a delay. So right after I filmed that video, like the very next day, I went to work, and I work long days. I work 12-hour shifts. And I came home and I forgot to remind my loved ones at home to keep an eye on them, keep them moist. It just takes coming out like midday. I had them in a full sun location because they were handling that beautifully, but also I was watering them midday and keeping them moist, keeping my eye on them. I came home and they were all dried to a complete crisp. I was devastated, heartbroken. I thought that I had lost all of them. And one of them actually is looking a little worse for wear, but honestly, I had just a little nub. That was all that I had left of her. I mean, I cut all of the dead off and I thought there was nothing left. I didn't even think there was anything recoverable on this plate. That was 13, 14 days, so 2 weeks now. And look at how they bounced back. My heart couldn't be happier. I am so amazed and happy that they didn't die on me. And I thought I had absolutely lost them and all that work. And I don't know, if you're like me, you get excited. You know, I was excited. I love the dahlias, clearly, and I put so much time and work into them, and to think that I had lost them, you know, losses happen for gardeners. Sometimes things die and sometimes things don't work out the way we want, and I try to take it on the chin, but this one hurt. But I gave her a few days and didn't really look at her, and lo and behold, new growth emerged. Like, life wants to find a way. These things want to survive. And that is an encouraging thought in this landscape, in this climate where it feels like I am like working so hard to keep everything alive. Like, they want to survive too. Things want to live, you know. So just an encouraging thought. Your plants want to live. Life wants to find a way. And they will if they can. So let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming, and I'm actually going to be getting some of these in the ground today as well. So we're back after having a little bit of a break, and we got the Veronicastrum and the Valerium and the Cosmos all planted up, and they're tiny little, I would show them to you now, but they're tiny and they're not really anything to look at. But in a few weeks, hopefully they'll be really beautiful, and I'll give an update and a tour of them at that point. But what is concerning me and has me very upset, I have fought very hard for Dahlia Way, and at this point it has come to my attention that we are dealing with spider mites very badly. There are spider mites on most plants, and I kind of wondered, I read about dahlias, and I know that they have a lot of viruses. They're very prone to viruses, but I actually took a lot of cuttings and have grown my cuttings on, and a lot of my cuttings are actually in the front garden. And the cuttings don't actually have any of the same issues that the mother plant had, which I thought was weird, because if it has a virus that is expressing itself, you know, surely the exact copy, you know, it's an exact clone replica of that plant, surely that would be displaying it. But the ones in the front aren't showing any signs of harm or damage to the leaves. However, if you look down here, this is the corner of Dahlia Way that is suffering the most. It has come to my attention that these are in fact spider mites, and I've never dealt with them before. And it wasn't until watching Robbie on Visit Our Garden and he showed me his dahlias, and I was shocked. And like, we have the exact same issues. My leaves look exactly the same. So I immediately went out and did my research and discovered that insecticidal soap should hopefully work and hopefully do it. I've applied it 1.5 times. I ran out on my second application, so I kind of focused on the worst area, which would be in here. And my question for any of you that know, and I know some of you guys that have been watching my videos are actually very experienced with dahlias and have grown dahlias of your own, is this salvageable? Can these be brought back from death's door? Or is it better to pull them out and prevent them from spreading? Because if you see, we have actually lots of new, good, healthy growth that is unaffected. And I also need to clear out the bottom of a lot of these leaves anyway to kind of limb them up. I think I'm going to continue. So what I'm doing and what we're doing right now is we are just going to spray this down. And I'm trying to get every side and every angle. And it's difficult to do this and get every side of every angle. But we're going to do our best, and it may take several applications. But as somebody who so desperately wanted Dahlia Way to be a success, this has been tremendously challenging. And it is, back here on Dahlia Way, it appears that they are on most things to some degree or another. There are some plants that I'm just not sure can honestly come back. And I'm spraying the soap. This is insecticidal soap. And I am spraying after the sun has gone down, so it's not going to damage the plants. And I'm actually in this area, at least right now. I know it's not dark yet, but I don't see any pollinators out because I don't want to cause them any harm. We don't want to hurt the pollinators. So I'm spraying right now in the hopes that this will make a difference. But I'm just wondering if I have to pull these 1, 2, 3, maybe this one has some good growth on it. This one just seems sick and weedy and hasn't really done much growth. But I'm also wondering if I can just limb some of these. A lot of these branches need to be limbed up anyway to allow better air circulation and better airflow in here. So I'm wondering if I can just come in here and kind of spray and treat. But if any of you guys have advice on dealing with spider mites so that I don't have to lose my plants, I'd love the input. And some plants, like as you can see, this Teesbrook Audrey, some are so much more affected than others. But the problem with spider mites, from what I read, is it comes in, damages the leaves to the point that they're not able to photosynthesize, and it takes away the plant's ability to photosynthesize and use the energy from the sun. And if it gets too advanced, then it does kill the plant, because a plant that's not able to photosynthesize doesn't survive. And I'm kind of prioritizing, I'm going to come in and limb these up, I think. I'm prioritizing spraying on the new growth areas so that I can at least preserve the new growth and keep them growing healthily. And then I'll keep on spraying and limbing up the lower leaves that need to come off anyway. And hopefully eventually, maybe it'll be okay. But this is sad times on Dahlia Way. I hate to leave you like that, but I'm a little upset. And, you know, it's just a garden and they are just plants. And every year is a new year. But yeah, We have quite the battle on our hands, and I know a lot of you have your garden struggles too. So thanks for joining me today and getting a lot of this stuff done around the garden with me. Um, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will keep you updated about this. All right, thank you.